All right, hey everybody, good morning. This is Leon for Triwood Realty, and I'm sitting here with Tina Brown from Rainier Title and Escrow, and she was gracious enough to take a moment to sit down with us to answer a couple questions. A lot of people buy houses all the time, and everything they do is Chinese language to them or foreign language, and so I thought we'd just kind of put a spin on it and make English some of the kind of important questions. So, Tina, thanks for joining me. What I'd like to do, I got a couple questions, and just gonna bounce them off you. The biggest thing we'll start out first with, what is title and escrow?
Well, title and escrow, title is insurance and escrow is a whole different thing. So let's kind of attack them one at a time. So there's three different types of insurance that people deal with when they're buying a home. And one is homeowners insurance, which is not title insurance. The other is mortgage insurance, which is not title insurance. And the other is title insurance. And title insurance, well, let's just break down what the difference is. Homeowners insurance covers the home for future things, and you pay for it on a monthly basis. Everybody knows what that is if you've ever owned a home. It's for incidental things like fire, flood, things like that. Mortgage insurance covers the lender. So if you are more than 80% loan to value on a purchase, then you're going to be paying mortgage insurance until you have 20% equity in the home. Title insurance, however, covers everything prior to. It covers past events, whereas homeowners insurance covers future events. So that's the difference between the different insurances that you're going to be faced with when buying a home. However, the title insurance covers risks of the property that you are purchasing. It eliminates all past risks. So if anything does pop up, typically on a title report, and the best thing to do is get a preliminary title report if you're getting prepared to list a property, because you can start to see the different things on the preliminary report and begin to open the case, so to speak, and a title can be prepared. So title pulls a chain of title against the property, against encumbrances. Whenever the property was refinanced or bought or sold, it protects against liens, levies, claims. It helps remedy undisclosed errors. You'd be surprised. 25% of all homes that are purchased without title insurance, there's going to be something that pops up, like undisclosed errors, forgeries, filing errors. That does happen. Everything's done filed by human hands, so errors do happen. Any debts against the property. Could be liens from a contractor, could be lots of other debts that could pop up. Boundary issues, sewer issues. The issues can go on and on and on. I mean, I can talk all morning about the issues, but those are the types of things that title insures against. So when you have a title policy, any of those things that come up, title will take care of clearing those for you and making sure that they're not an issue moving forward once you own the property. And if they do, then title will take care of that for you, and you're not going to have to fight a court to clear those type of things later. There's a couple of types of policies. There's the lender policy, and the lender policy is purchased by the buyer. The buyer will pay that, and it protects the bank and the mortgage company. And if it's a cash loan, then there's only one policy, and it's going to be paid by the seller, and that's ensuring that this property that they're going to sell your customer is free and clear and doesn't have any encumbrances against it. So the buyer pays the lender policy, the seller pays the homeowner policy, if that's clear. So escrow, what is escrow and what do they do? Well, escrow works with the buyer's lender to prepare the closing documents. It's best to work with an agent that knows your escrow, because sometimes it's about relationship and what that relationship can help you do to clear issues that may come up on a lender, from a lender. There's conditions from the lender, and there's conditions from the title company. So there's two different conditions lists that you have to meet to get your loan cleared if you're a buyer.
Are people required to use the same title and escrow company to do a deal?
No, they're not. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this, but escrow is buyer's choice. So if you are buying a property and they say, I want you to use ABC title and escrow, I always say if preliminaries title has been pulled and work has been done, I certainly don't want to take anything away from somebody who's already done work. However, if it's your buyer and I'm working with you as the real estate agent and we have a relationship and I can help you and help your customers clear anything that comes through escrow, then it would behoove you to put your choice of escrow on the purchase and sale. It is buyer's choice, and typically people don't say anything. I mean, people are always like, "Oh, I just want to go with the flow, and I want to put on there what is already there." You certainly can, but then you're working with somebody that you don't maybe necessarily know. So if you work with the same escrow company, the same escrow team, they know you, you know them, you communicate well, you know who to get a hold of and how to get things cleared and how to get things done, and that's what a title rep is there for as well, to help facilitate those things. So escrow makes sure all the conditions of the sale are met. Escrow is the liaison between all parties. Sometimes they think that escrow is magical, but really at the end of the day, you just have to remember escrow follows instructions. They follow instructions from the lender, they follow instructions from the real estate agent, and sometimes they follow instructions from me as the title rep, trying to help facilitate things. So they only follow instructions, and they also get the payoffs, and they comply with all the lender instructions. At the end, they prepare the closing statements. They release all the contingencies that may be against the property. They prepare the deed. They do the prorated taxes. They disperse the funds. We hold the earnest money. So the best thing to do if you are a real estate agent is to get that earnest money in at the same time that you get the purchase and sale in, because if you send us earnest money and we don't have a purchase and sale, where do we put it? What do we attach it to? So first and foremost, we need the purchase and sale and the earnest money, hopefully simultaneously, but sometimes hopefully the purchase and sale first. So we have some place to.
So one thing I'll throw in this one then. So a lot of times nowadays, we just email stuff. Nobody delivers anything. With COVID protocols and stuff like that being safer. So in times like this, you guys have a system in place that if I was to send you a deal, I could have the buyer sign up and deposit the earnest money to you guys and secure. Could you kind of explain that process?
We have a app that you go to the app store and just download. It's called Zoccam, Zoccam. It's a little green box with a Z in it. And that's very secure, 100% accurate. We have been using it now for about, I think all of 2020, or 2020. What happens is either you can do it or the borrower can do it. Just download the app, and then there's simple steps instructions. And if the borrower's going to do it, I can send them the instruction sheet, or it's kind of intuitive. It's like you download it and it's asks you like 6 questions and you answer. The hardest question is, what office would you like to choose to send your escrow check to? Well, if they're working with you and they're working with me and I'm out of the Kent office, they will want to choose Kent office. However, it doesn't really matter with Rainier. We are all linked. We have 8 offices and we're all linked together. So if they're in Gig Harbor and they want to go to the Gig Harbor, or they want to send it to the Gig Harbor office, that's fine. But there again, we need the purchase and sale in file so that we know where to attach the earnest money to. So there's an address and there's a name and there's all the information that we need. So Zoccam is the quickest, fastest, easiest, hands-off way to, it's just like doing a deposit in your bank account. If you do online banking, you take a picture of the check, the front and the back, and you push send. That's how easy it is. And we have had zero errors in a year of using it. It's wonderful. I love it. I want everybody to know about it. I try to inform everybody that I can.
One of the reasons I bring that up because what a lot of agents have a tendency to do is I have their little favorite escrow company. And just for an example, I had a deal in Olympia that the person wanted to open the escrow over in Puyallup, and they had a signing of a Friday. And I asked the guy, "Are you paying for the limo ride for these guys? Because we know I-5 southbound becomes I-5 southbound parking lot Friday." And so one of the key things is even if title is opened at one of your offices, they can sign in the area of what's more convenient to them, and people aren't aware of that. And it's sad that the agents turn around and do it based on what's convenient to them, but they're not the ones ever signing the paperwork. So
right.
I like to make it clear to people that even though it might say, hey, escrow or title is opened at the Renton office, there are offices, other places that they can go in and sign. They don't have to worry about driving 50 miles each way to sign paperwork when there's an office 15 minutes from their house.
Well, since March, I think, or the onset of COVID, we have had 100% outside signings, which we call outside signings. They're either done by a notary company, which we use several different notary companies that work with us. Are vetted with us, and they can't just be anybody. It has to be somebody that's vetted by Rainier Title. So we have outside notary companies. All of the salespeople, including myself, are notaries, and I filled a notary book this year. I've done so many signings. So it's and when we do it at the time and the location of the choice of the buyer or seller. A lot of times we'll go to their house if they don't mind, or we'll go to the summer we were doing signings in parks. We were doing in, if some, like I have a covered porch. If somebody wanted to come here, they could do outside signing under my covered porch. All of our offices, unfortunately, are still closed due to the COVID restrictions and the things that we are allowed to do. So we also were doing signings in the parking garage at some of our offices. It's getting chilly out there, and the other day they were doing it with gloves on, but hey, they're getting it done. So wherever the buyer or seller wants to sign is where we sign. We go to them at their designated choice of time and place.
Okay,
And there's no charge for that. That's included in everything that we do, and we didn't add any extra charges in. It's just part of what we do. We've always had it as a courtesy, and mostly we've used it for people that were sick, shut-ins, elderly people, whatever. But now we're doing it for everybody. So it's kind of been fun and interesting run, and we don't mind doing it. And it's a service that we provide, and it makes people quite happy because it changes the whole dynamics of getting your deal closed.
see, so that leads me into one of the things that, and everybody watching this, please really listen to this. I work with a lot of military that are stationed overseas, or you get people that travel, and a lot of times you might not have the two clients in the same place. You have a husband here, wife there, or partners that are in two different places. You guys offer a service that if a mobile notary isn't available, that really works out well, and that's what I really would like you to explain to them as well.
Well, we have a mobile notary, 3 different mobile notary platforms. One's Notary Cam, the other's Pavaso, and the other one's called Notarize. And there are 3 different platforms that we use. However, you have to take into consideration a few things. If you want to do notary by computer, you have to have a computer with a camera and a microphone and a cell phone. You have to have those 3 things in hand. I don't care if you're in China or if you're in Europe or wherever you may be, you have to have those 3 things available to you with web access. So if providing you have those things, that's step 1. Step 2 is the lender, the buyer, and the seller all have to agree that this is what we're going to do, and agree up front, because there's a whole lot of different preparation that goes into play. And it's helpful if escrow knows this, that it's going to be a mobile online notary. And the other thing to take into consideration is some lenders do not allow it. So the lender has to be on board, the buyer has to be on board, and the seller has to be on board. If they're all on board, then include the escrow, and we're good to go.
Are
But
most
make
are
sure-
most lenders the name, I hate saying name brand, but are most of the well-known or used lenders on board with this?
Some are, some aren't. One I know that is not, there's a pretty big, well-known lender that a lot of people use around here, is Primary Residential Mortgage, PRM. They do not allow it. So always ask your borrowers who their lender is and who they're working with, and if they are planning on doing a online notary. But it's rather laborious, so we don't try to do it for everyone. Maybe if they get it streamlined, and the platforms are streamlining it every day. I mean, this is all new come March of this year, so they're still streamlining their process, and possibly it may be where we go to that on all deals. Who knows? That could go there.
So then they've got the computer, they've got the phone, they've got permission, then what happens?
They've got the phone, they've got the computer, they got permission, they've included escrow. Key thing, escrow needs to know up front too, this is where we're going. Then when we get ready to sign documents, we will, our scheduler will call and coordinate the online notary, and also coordinate the buyer or seller. They'll do the coordination. So it'll be set up at a certain time, at a certain place, and they'll all be there and ready to go. And it's basically almost like you and me talking right now, only I will virtually click a button and send you a document. You will sign it and virtually send it back to me. And we go through it that way. And that's how the whole package gets signed. One paper at a time, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh, and then other than the normal ID requirements and stuff like that, is there any other special requirements other than those things you mentioned?
No, no, just regular normal ID. Typically, they may ask for, because it's going to be typically out of country, usually, maybe out of state, they may ask for a special form to be filled out identifying that person. So they can do a little bit more check up front before they even go to the notary.
Okay, no, simple enough, but and now in a matter of getting it done, the very few escrow and title companies are offering this service, and that's what really makes it, a good thing, and people aren't aware it's out there, and that's why I wanted to kind of get the word out that, people wonder how things are getting done, during this period, and able to service people and give them that service. You got to go with the people that have it available. So, no.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to give anybody an idea of any other additional services title or escrow gives them?
Well, one thing is that's easy to do for real estate agents, for you, for instance, or anyone on your team or in your office. If you want to get a quote up front, an accurate quote up front, we do have an online quoting system as well. And I sent you a sample of that this morning. You might not have caught it right before we started the Zoom. Basically, you go to our website, www.rainiertitle.com. Then up in the right-hand corner, you click resources and then calculators. You scroll down under calculators to fee calculator. Then you just start filling in the blanks. Add in the zip code and it will default. I mean, it'll know what city it's in and what county and all that. It'll auto fill that. Then put in the purchase will default. You can change it to refi or anything like that if you're a lender. But if you're selling and you need to put in the purchase price, you put in that amount, whatever it is, and then there's a product and service key that'll drop down, and you click title and escrow, or you can break it out separately, title or escrow, or title and escrow. So whatever you're looking at, and then you choose an office. You can choose there again, any office if you want. If you're working with me, just choose Kent office. I work out of the Kent office. And then you can skip the file number because that's not relevant at the point. And then put in the price and put in the loan amount and click add recording fees because you want that in there as well. And then you click get estimate, and all that I sent you is exactly what shows up. You'll get everything
instantaneously, or would I have to wait for it to be sent?
Instantaneously, it'll come up, and you can forward that to your client as well if you need to. But yes, it's instantly.
And so for the buyers or sellers that are listening to this, you can always ask your agent, because sometimes it comes down to what is my bottom line, what's it truly going to cost me, and that'll give a good approximate. But that just shows you once again some of the services offered, that many things, they say many moving parts in the background go on. It's not just the lender, it's not just the realtor. Title and escrow is the invisible body a lot of times, because other than the information coming out and people are wondering who is this that is trying to get the information to get the escrow set up, there's a lot of things going on to make sure that when it comes to the table and they sign the paperwork, it's going to close and not have a whole lot of nightmares behind it that you didn't know about.
During COVID, I have been doing not only my job, but I've been working on the front desk, filling in. I've been working in the back office, filling in, getting payoffs, things like that. Even I didn't realize there is like 75 steps that go on to get to closing that title and escrow actually do, maybe 100 steps. It just goes on and on and on. It just goes and goes. So there's many more steps than what people actually realize. But at the end of the day, Title and escrow are here to represent buyers and make sure that they're getting a clear and clear property, and the escrow is done in a fair and equitable way because we're nonpartisan party. We represent both the buyer and the seller. So that's why I said escrow is not going to answer any personal questions back and forth like that. They just follow instructions and they get the job done.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to say thank you for sitting down with me today. And like I said, I'm here. I look forward to more business with you guys. And like I said, that last service right now during COVID is really a very good service. People are worried about being out here, being exposed, and the things we do to minimize risk and stuff like that. And like I said, just I always say no finance, no romance. And without title and without escrow, it's not going to close. So thanks for giving out information today, and I'm looking forward to more business with you in the future.
Can I add one couple quick things?
You can.
We also give a VA discount. We're the only company that does that. We do give VA discounts for people that serve our country. We feel like that's the least that we can do. We also do a reissue discount. We issue. So if they buy it and then they come back 6 months or a year later and refinance it, just mention the fact that you have already had title with Rainier Title and you get a 10% discount on your refi from a customer standpoint. We're also locally owned, so we can make decisions quickly and accurately. It doesn't have to go through a bunch of corporate red tape, to make a decision. We can actually call the owner and he can say, yeah, go ahead and do that. And we've done some pretty amazing things. Also, and probably most importantly, and I think for you and for your customers, the best thing that we do is we have a red flag alert page that comes out the minute the title policy is issued. We also have people that sit and do nothing but read the title policy before it's sent to you, and they send out a notification. This policy is clear, this property looks great, or they say, these are the things that you need to look at and address and get back to us on, and we're going to be calling you on it. So up front, you already know what you're faced with. So it's just called our red flag or notification page. It's the first page on every title report, and I think that's very important for you as a real estate agent and for your buyers or sellers, because you can also send that out to them and say, this is something that's come up. It may be nothing, and it may be easy to clear, like it shows that they have a ex-husband or something, or ex-wife, but they don't. We just proved that. But we need to know that up front because it's showing up on title. So we need to know, that was 20 years ago or whatever. We had a deal the other day. The wife was selling the house and the husband had deceased 20 years ago, but he was still there. So we just had to know that. You had to know that. The sellers had to know that, so they can bring that to the table and say, here's the death certificate, we got this cleared off. And it's easy, but we always know those things, and those things up front. So those are really important pages to pay attention to. It helps a lot.
Yeah, truly it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to thank you. Have a great week. Be safe, and looking forward to doing more business with you.
Thank you so much, Leon. I appreciate having your time and attention this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You
All right.
too.
Bye-bye.